Today's episode is sponsored by Permanent Hearing Damage, which is a recording studio based in Philadelphia, owned and operated by Steve Roche from Seisha, Off Minor, Boer War, which you're hearing now, and many others. They've spent the last 25 years specializing in recording, mixing, mastering for punk, hardcore, metal, and related genres at artist-friendly prices. Some recent clients include Piers, Foxtails, Masanera, Closer, Rambo, Stinking Lizaveta, Sanagi, and Witching. Contact Permanent Hearing Damage via their website, permanenthearingdamage.com. Hello, and welcome to Everything Remade, a podcast that I hope is about growth as much as it is about music. I'm Edie Quinn, and we have a great show lined up for you today. Before we get started, though, I'd like to remind you about our Patreon page at patreon.com/humanmachine, where you can go to sign up and support the show, read zines, get music sneak peeks, and so much more. That's patreon.com/humanmachine. And now, I'd like to play something for you. You're hearing Saran Wrapped Cash by Crippling Alcoholism, featuring my new pals Tony on vocals and Jonathan on keys. The song comes from their newest album, Cam Girl, which you can order from Portrayal of Guilt Records.
I didn't really get into music until I was 13, maybe 14-ish. And I remember just like, yeah, there was music in games I was playing. It's not even that great of music. It's kind of funny, but it was music in this game called Plants vs. Zombies. And I learned a little melody on a keyboard. And yeah, and then my friends started playing bass in a band, and they didn't have a keyboard player, and I was like, I don't know how to play keyboard, but I'll figure it out. And then I started getting into it. 'Cause my parents had tried to force me to do like guitar lessons before, and it didn't work, and I wasn't receptive to it. But I think it was a lot of the social element that really brought me in. Of my friend was in a band, and then he started showing me, Smashing Pumpkins and all the entry level good stuff, and then I got into it. But yeah, what about you, Tony?
Well, I always say that music has ruined my life way that drugs and alcohol never could, because you can quit drugs and alcohol.
You can't quit music.
You can get sober. You can go to take tramadol or fucking disulfiram or any of that shit, and you can wean yourself off of it. But it's like, even at an early age, I mean, I had OCD when I was a kid, like pretty bad, where I was like, couldn't leave a room without turning the lights on and off all the time. And
you are that type.
And I worked my OCD into, like, I started playing guitar when I was about 12.
Yeah.
And I worked my OCD into that, where I had to like come up with like 3 things every day, and like, or else I couldn't sleep, or something bad was gonna happen.
You had to play everything perfectly in one try, or else you were a failure.
Yeah, like something like that. Yeah, and I and it was both this like really amazing escape from everything that was going on, but also like in itself just another prison.
Yeah.
So I mean, I think like when I think almost immediately even when I heard like Blink 182
Oh
and
yeah,
those bands are like Fall Out Boy. Like
Green
when I was a
Day.
kid, Green Day. When I
Yeah.
was a kid, it just seemed like
Dude,
this
middle school I slapped, dude.
magic. Like I was like, how do they? Like you hear a distorted guitar and you're like, how the fuck do they do that? I need to wield this magic. Like
Yeah.
it's some power, right? And so I got the $99 Strat, black Strat at Costco.
Nice.
And I was just like furiously practicing, you know, for like basically until I was like 30.
Yeah.
And then I was like, I don't really practice that much anymore. But
Yeah.
yeah, like the obsession of it, like always thinking about it, always saying,
Has to be faster,
what's
tighter,
the next thing you
cleaner.
can do? Not even like, I think there's that.
You
but I
did
think
have that phase.
But
for
also, if you're just like walking around and saying like, "Oh, wouldn't it be cool if I blend? If you blend this and this, or do this, and
Yeah.
like use this thing, and like you're just always thinking about it." We're here down at the Cape, and I'm like, what would the music that would like really capture this, like sad, depressing winter fishing village?
You made that
like,
tuning on that guitar.
Yeah, yeah.
Downstairs. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm like thinking about that all the time, and I was like, oh, you're constantly thinking about how the things you see could be complemented by music, or could be captured, or the emotions you have, and all that. And it really is an obsession. And I think that like even if nobody hears it, you're always thinking about it.
Yeah.
And that happened when I was like 12.
Yeah.
Similar.
Yeah.
There's a lot to like think about there. Like, I did not know that they sold like legit fenders at Costco. That's wild.
It did.
But
It
yeah,
did. And they're sold nylon classical. I have that here with me now, actually. Both for $99.
that's awesome. Yeah, there's like my oldest, like when she wanted a bass, like it's like, oh, like rondomusic.com, like 119, it comes with a gig bag, it comes with a CD that's supposed to tell you, she'd never even put the CD in or anything, but like there's always been like some kind of like, here you go, this will get you started. And I don't know, that's awesome. But I was, hearing you talk about like just sort of imagining you just like wandering around and applying like music to like random, even like menial like events in life really like puts y'all's musical approach into a certain perspective for me, because I was going through the albums like again just to sort of like see what I could really like try to like find about it that I've not been able to like articulate. And I don't know that y'all's albums are concept albums, but they feel like that, in as much as they feel like these dark like lived in stories. Is that like what you're aiming for at all, or am I just reading a totally different, having a totally different reading on that?
Tony is like sending me like 12-page concepts on like the whole story behind some album at like 4 a.m. all the time. He's coming up with some like schizophrenic ramblings about like this character did this and then they shot their mom and then went off on a coke bender. That's Tony. You feel that, Tony? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean they're definitely concept albums. I think that like a way Jonathan and I have tried to I think because we've been playing in bands for a long time, and it's same with the other members as well. But you try to have the real world connection to the sound. So like he and I will send he'll send something to me, or I'll send something to him, and we'll typically have some description that's like has some kind of real world, like, oh, this sounds like you're sitting on a beach or you're watching the waves, or it sounds like you're inside of a crystal, or it sounds like it's something harsh that you're being uh like you're being locked in a box or something like
Yeah.
that. Like you try, that's kind of the
Here's
way. I mean, it could be bad or good, but like you try to have some sort of visual real world representation of stuff. And I mean, we apply that to Crippling for sure. There's definitely also more philosophical stuff. Like we kind of set the philosophical aspects of the album first, what we want to explore, then we put it in a physical place. So the last album was in this was going between all these different like really glamoury parties in, set in Nashua, New Hampshire, where there was all these like strip malls and like smoke shops with all the crazy neon signs and lights and everything. And so like we could envision where the song, and then going to like Boston for to like Nashua or Manchester to like a strip club and stuff, like the big
dingy neon strip club.
But also there's something kind of glittery and neon. Yeah,
it's just like neon rainbow barf and lights everywhere.
Yeah,
and
like
UV lights, and black lights, and it's just a lot.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like those were we literally were like, what synth sounds like that? We will like go and try to make the synth sound like that. Try to make the production sound like that. And we did with this new album we have, it's set in Florida, so we're trying to mix in like what does it sound like on a beach. So a lot of the songs are more guitar focused because we use a lot of like beachy guitars from fucking Les Paul days or something like that, clean beachy riffs, and then mixing that with other things.
There's like a Florida sleaze to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's interesting that you said like trapped in a box, because what I tried to distill, like I was like, what is this? What does this album or this band, like, what's this say to me? Like in a one line, like sort of, and the band could hate this or it could be whatever. But I was like, Future Islands trying to escape from a saw trap was what, because the vocals, like, I've never heard anything like your vocals outside of like Future Islands. It really reminds me of that. And I don't know if you're like a fan of them or you're just like, I don't get that at all. Like it, yeah, like there's something about like I imagine that you, because your music is very like keys forward. So, but you're talking about like the guitars being like sort of a more driving thing on Cam Girl.
Oh no, sorry, on the one that we're writing now.
Oh, the one you're writing now. Okay, because
so we have a new album that will come out in 2026.
Okay, the one that's going to be on the Flesner. Right.
We're currently like in the studio writing.
Oh, okay. Because like
this
when I thought we were talking about Cam Girl, I was like, yeah, I mean, I didn't take it to be more guitar or less guitar than the other stuff, but like there's always guitar, for sure. But you talked about like you're sending these ideas back and forth. So is that where everything starts? Like as just not a rule or anything, but just like generally, is that where it starts? It starts in the big idea, and then the sounds start to flesh that out. Because like I feel like the keys are really, at least on everything I've heard, the keys are really like the base of the song. So like
yes,
well, it starts with the ideas and then goes there.
Yeah. Especially in Cam Girl, because I think it captured the setting and the vibe of like the neon barf of like overstimulating, glittery, Vegas-y sort of signs everywhere. And it was just kind of the vibe for sure. It's very hard to write stuff without some kind of like setting or mood behind it. Like even something really simple, just like tropical or strip club or I don't know, like Western with vampire vibe, like something like that. Like I find it really tough to start with pure music. Sometimes that happens with like chord progressions, but it's usually some concept that Tony has, and we kind of turn it into a sound. So
Yeah,
yeah,
that's really cool, and I really don't think that I've chatted with, 280 something episodes with folks that have like had this kind of process before. It's really fascinating, and it makes a lot of sense. Like, when listening to y'all, I mean, all the way to just like the way the colors are laid out on your Bandcamp page. It's like you're talking about like it's bright and it's overwhelming, and it's like I was talking about how I was listening to the albums, and I'm sitting there and I'm like reading the lyrics along with everything, and I'm like, I got to stop reading these because like my eyes hurt. Like, and like there's a there's a sort of a there's a sort of like a natural like discomfort when listening to y'all's music, and like it sounds like that's baked in to a degree where you're talking about you're specifically trying to own in on these like things that are like, you know like dirty or obnoxious, like in like the glitziness or what of it. And like it when I was thinking about this word like discomfort or unease or whatever earlier, I was like, that's a big part of the conversation around music in general now. It's like there's not much of it that makes you like take stock of your unease with it in any way, shape, or form. Is that also like intentional?
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
Is it?
Um,
Yeah, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I mean, I think a lot of it is just like that's how we feel a lot of the time. It's like not good,
maybe
and
that's
so
just like
that's
reflects how our brains are, to be honest.
it's like
Because like whatever we make and whatever we have made, the one common thread is it's just fucked. It's insanity. It's uncomfortable. There's something very neurotic about it.
yeah,
There's something disturbing. I don't think we can do music without that. So I guess it just is a byproduct of our brains.
And it sounds like you two have known each other for a really long time. Like, you're both talking about like when I was 12, when I was 13. Have y'all known each other that whole time?
no. I mean, we've
Oh,
been
okay.
playing in a band. We've been playing in bands for what 8 years, 7 years.
Something like that.
But yeah, so and we do a lot of like other shit on the side, and like we're always
But yeah, we've been friends since about that long.
yeah,
And like we hung out a lot and would do music a lot.
yeah,
We did just like a bunch of life stuff just in general too, and
yeah.
yeah. So
Okay. Was there a like a predecessor band to Crippling
I was the
Alcoholism?
predator for John. I was
there was. It's not good.
Oh, okay, fair.
We-
That was the
so yeah, I
warm
mean
up.
we're yeah. Jonathan and I had a band called Nursing, which was like extreme.
well, there's
grindcore.
before that too.
And then even before that, we had a band called Needle Play. We were in a band called Needle Play, which was a like a mathcore band, jazzcore.
It was something. It was like throw everything into a blender, including a baby diaper and a pineapple kind of math. It was like it was all over the place. It was fuck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I take it that Crippling Alcoholism started somewhere around like 2020-ish, 2021, because your first album came out in 2022. So, like, from going from these other bands to starting this project, like, were was there a clear delineation from the get-go of how this was going to be different and what you wanted to do?
Yes, and this in 2022, it was my solo project, and I had shown it to
Yeah, you were sending me some drafts, and I was like, "This is weird. It's cool."
yeah, and Jonathan was working on other stuff. I mean,
I
I
was in
think
school.
you're in
And I was
school,
like,
yeah.
not doing too great, and neither were you.
No, yeah, and then I was working on that, and then I think after the first one, after I put out that first record, it was just me, and then I got Danny to do, our drummer, to do drums. So it was just me and
Hired
him,
him to do it.
and
Yeah.
then that really wasn't like it didn't really take off too much, but
you wanted to play shows, so you brought me and some other people on.
then also like we started immediately writing the next album.
Yes.
And then Jonathan was kind of the one who came in and was like, because there was some poppier elements in that first one, but a lot of it's still like very noise rock.
The second one sounds very different.
And Jonathan was like, I think we should focus on like the poppier stuff and try to like use that to Trojan horse like the uncomfortableness.
Because you started doing choruses and hooks, which I had never heard from you before.
Yeah.
So I was like, this is cool. Like,
yeah, and a lot of people prefer that second album to any of the three.
yeah, some people prefer the first two. Like,
Well, yeah.
yeah, there's always but
I get the second out. I think the second one's like pretty. And Jonathan came on. He helped me like really make it expand the vision but also make it very focused and coherent.
Mm-hmm. Do you feel like Eric Sauter at Blackheart sound like is also like is that also like been key to like because there's like
no,
I'm sorry, what?
no, he's a good friend of ours.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he's great.
He just said, fuck Eric. No.
No, because I just like, it seems like y'all have this vision that's like very clear for the most part. And then like a lot of the production choices and stuff are so distinct and they feel very meticulous. And I was just curious, like, I wasn't going to ask this question until way later, but we're here. Like, how much of this is like y'all are in the room, like making these decisions? Like, I mean, one thing that really, stuck out to me for whatever reason, was like the snare sound on Lipstick with No Lips. Like,
yeah,
like these very specific things where it's just like, that's fucking wild and cool. And like, nobody just made this decision like on a whim or whatever. So like,
no, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Eric's so great because I mean, first of all, Eric is almost like a band member because
he suggested that actually.
That's a good example.
What if we do like a cracky, like sort of like 80s snare with the gated reverb?
Mm-hmm.
And he tried it. Pretty cool. Like that kind of gets the weird, like fucked up 80s like world where pop is like murderous kind of vibe.
Yeah.
So
well, that's like what because he's so great. I mean, and Jonathan will help me translate because I'll be like, Eric, we need it to sound like it's underwater and there's sharks. And he's like, I don't know what that means in like. And then Jonathan will be like, I kind of know what he means. He wants you to put like reverb on these things and like, but make this come out more. And so like, Eric has to deal with my like crazy because I don't know shit about engineering really. And then Jonathan will be the translator for me. And then I mean, everyone's got their own production ideas.
Eric will contribute some like cool production thing like that every once in a while. There's also some like little effects in Lipstick at the end that are really cool. Yeah. Same with Templeton that are just like some weird little background thing that he was like, oh, I want to try this, and we're like, that's pretty sick.
Yeah. So,
and also he did suggest like I remember Satan is the one completely different form for it, and we were gonna cut it, but he was like, I feel like if you move these parts around and like make this transition shorter, it'll be better.
Yeah.
Like, cool. And we'll listen to his input if he has an idea. Because he's not just like a regular engineer of like turn the knobs and make it sound.
Eric gives a shit. He really feels it, and he's
like an artist with it.
Even on my first album, like when this was just me doing it, he was like he believed in it, like conceptually. He was like, yeah, it's awesome. So I love Eric. He's the best.
Yeah, that's awesome. I think you can really tell like, and I was trying to imagine like these albums like recorded and produced like in any other way, like what would like the scope of it would be so different, you know,
Yeah, you should
and
do our drafts.
yeah,
Oh yeah.
yeah. So you do like some pretty extensive sort of demoing before you're ready to go in and record.
Yeah, and you have to really kind of believe in the final output because it's you gotta a lot of it only hits like you say, like with that end production.
Some of it, like you have to suspend your like qualms with it until it gets the right mix, because certain songs like that makes or breaks it, and
Yeah,
yeah, I mean, we have to demo everything pretty clearly and like pretty extensively, like that. So almost every like major thing is accounted for in terms of like the structure, and the guitar parts are planned, and drum parts more or less, and a lot of the verses and choruses too. We'll change stuff if it like we're really not feeling something, but we have extensive demos that are like pretty like clear vision of what we want before going in, just because otherwise it's just really fucked to do that while the clock is ticking and you're paying money and you're losing money. Like, I don't know what I'm doing. What tempo is this song? You have to like think about all that stuff, or you just kind of like can't get anything done.
yeah.
We will shit or add stuff like in the studio on a whim if we're really feeling it, or we want to do some background effects or some ear candy thing.
Yeah.
Or
And Eric loves the project, but he also like is running a business, and we don't have $30,000 to just give him and be like, hey, block out the next couple weeks and we're gonna just work on. Like, we have to schedule our time to just go be efficient. So as much as pre-production as you can do, the better.
Really interesting to hear y'all talk about like the difference between the demos and the finals, and then like, you know, you're basically saying that you've got to this point where you're like, all right, we know what this is going to sound like in Eric's hands. We know what this is going to sound like once all is said and done. So it's sort of a trust the process thing, and that's something that I hark on a lot because like I'm actually the opposite when I go to record. Like, I don't have any of this. Like, I don't have any of it like nailed down like y'all do. But I'm recording myself, so it's I can let things happen, and I don't have to worry about the you know, dollars per hour that are popping up. But it's the same thing where it's like trust the process, because you know you've done this, you've proven this works. And like once you are at the end of it, you're like, see that there it works. But you sort of like almost hinted that there's, when Jonathan said like the mix can make or break a song, like, is there sometimes when it just doesn't work and you're just like, okay, we'll go back to the drawing board later and come back with this song or these ideas like later, or is it just like by the time you get to the studio you already know?
No, we cut stuff at the studio all the time, and we kind of assume that we're gonna cut stuff. Like you go in with X amount of tracks, knowing that you're gonna cut two or three of them probably. But it's good to make that cut once you've gotten the production. But like we have some stuff even on this current list that we're going in with this album that I'm like, so much of this will depend on the final production that where I think it could be really good or I think it kind of flop and not work on the album.
Yeah.
But I'm not willing to make that call until I hear it with production. So like our next album, we go with however many tracks. We're assuming that some of them are going to get cut.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sometimes you just can't get the sound that you're trying to get that's in your head.
Yeah.
And it just doesn't happen.
Like with the vocals, too.
The vocal, and just like sometimes you get demo-itis where the demo feels better for some reason, even if it doesn't sound better.
Yeah.
And it's just like, some of that also will go away once you like go further, like far enough with the process. But I know for the second record, since it was so different and we were like turning it on its head, we were like, are we just making a giant pile of shit? Are we charlatans? Are we like not? We didn't trust the process at all.
No, I was very much doubting myself.
I think we both did. I remember like we had that one guy who reacted to it online, and he did like a negative review or something, and you were like, "Well, at least I'm going to get my master's."
Yeah.
It was like when the book came out, and
yeah.
Yeah.
As much as I was saying, trust the process, and I'm really trying to like live by that, there's always a point for me where I get halfway through and I'm like, yeah, I don't know, does this just fucking suck? Or like, like what's like, and I don't know, I'm probably more of a victim of that because like a lot of like I don't have generally speaking, I don't have like a band situation when I'm recording, so I don't have other people like in the room gassing me up like that was a fucking sick take, or whatever. Like, so I'm just like I can be really like, even if I like this, like, does that mean it's good? Because like I'm sometimes sort of creating in a vacuum and like I don't know, it's weird that we like can get through this same or similar process like so many times, and you can almost see that middle point coming where you're going to be like, is this working, is it not, and you still fall for it every time. Like I don't know, is that how y'all ended up like having two singles before Cam Girl came out? Like, because the songs are great, but like were you just like, these don't feel like they go on the album, or was there some other reason? Yeah.
No, we didn't feel like they went on the album, and we're still actively in the process of creation and figuring out like what the album would even be. And yeah, we got down. We were originally gonna have those on the album, and we decided not to.
And then sometimes it's like you do have to like take your listener into consideration. You're like, all right, we wanted to have 15 songs. We have these 2 extra songs. We could do a 17 song out. 15 is already pushing it.
It's already like too much.
17 is like way too much. What if we but we still like these a lot. What if we took them and put them as their own thing, and then they're not on the album? And actually,
that could happen again.
Blood Pony was supposed to be the ending.
Yeah.
But I thought it was too cynical because it's such a dark.
It's too bombastic.
It's too bombastic. It's too cynical. It's too. It's not heroic. Like, I wanted the character in Cam Girl to have a heroic ending,
and like a psychotic.
This character in Blood Pony was like an abuser, and it was very climactic ending, but I didn't want it. It was too much of a cynical ending. I wanted Bella Pink, the main character, to like triumph at the end instead. her abuser.
It was too hopeless. You
Yeah.
know, like,
Yeah. When you
So we wrote Despair, which is her actually, which I think is a much more, which is a much better ending.
Yeah.
And when you were writing that and when that song was coming to life, like being, fully fleshed out and everything, did you already like, was that like a Meredith would be perfect for this? Or did that come also later?
Oh, for Despair? Yeah,
Yeah.
because I had talked with Meredith, I think just online, and then I found Ladder, and she just has such a amazing vocal style,
Mm-hmm.
and she captures, not to disparage Meredith, but she sounds like really vicious and like crazy and kind of dangerous and like angry.
It was perfect.
And I was like, this is exactly the vibe of Bella, who, has all these issues and is really lashing out at these people in her life. So I was like, she would just be perfect for that at this point in Bella's life, at the end of the album, where she's like cutting ties with all these horrible people and like empowering herself, but in a way that's like really vicious. And you're like, oh, she's not so much of like, yes, she is a victim, but she is also completely capable of
fighting back,
and fucking over people and taking their money and and leaving them. But it's just kind of in a triumphant way.
And you had that idea, I think, before the track was even written, as Despair. I feel like you wanted Meredith to do that because it was just kind of perfect for what we were doing.
Yeah, she's like such a like she's a super talented vocalist, but like even more than that, like she's like such a performer, and like
That's it.
That's what it really like came down to, is like it's a like her vocals are great, but like the performance aspect of it like really brings home like the content of the lyrics and everything, which is like, I mean, you could just yell that, you could just scream that or whatever, but without that like extra something, it doesn't really bring the whole thing home the way that she was able to on there. And I don't know,
That's a good point. And she's also she's not coming from like metal where you can have screaming vocals that are like very clean. She's coming from noisecore and noise rock, like punk and so it's so visceral.
Especially seeing her live, I really like. It makes sense because her live show is crazy, and she'll just completely have like a mental breakdown type thing. It's more of just like it's like a human just stream of consciousness mental breakdown. It's pretty awesome.
It was sweet. But she's very professional. Like she sent us like 8 different versions.
Oh wow.
That were all good, and I mean she was great. It was like tough to pick our favorites.
Yeah, that's that's wild. Like I'm curious. I'm curious what those others would have been like. Just like, okay, so I came at it like this. I came at it with this sort of more in this range, and then whatever. I don't know. Like I've really enjoyed seeing like their sort of evolution as a band, and like where they've come. Like they're great. The album has like a lot of features on it. Were the other features that you chose, were they as like, is this just people that you've worked with, you wanted to work with them, or was it more like, we need this very specific thing in this area and this person will like crush it? Or was there more like, we just want to work with this person, let's see what they do? Like how much of it was A or B?
No, it was pretty much just like using people's talents or their specialty for certain songs, I would say. Like, we used Juliet from Luxury Skin, and she has a very specific vocal style and has an amazing voice. And so just say, let's get her on these types of, we had almost kind of like disco-y vocals where she's singing really high, almost falsetto, and she can do that falsetto the way no one else we know can, and she's just, you know, she's got a great delivery, and is also, and you know, Aki was in this song that's like a lot darker and like more noise. I just, from Amaya Kama and her other projects, like it just seems so much more fitting for her. But
She does a really haunting kind of thing.
yeah, she can do, like, she'll do harmonies with herself that are like atonal,
But they sound really cool.
but they sound like sort of like dark angel things where it's
yeah,
like she is singing, she's not screaming, and she'll harmonize, but she'll do like fourths, like
it's
fourths and thirds and like minor
it's like
seconds, like
Little
yeah.
Girls in the Shining.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's just, she can do that. So like that was perfect, and then she also did spoken word, which I thought was perfect for that. And like, no, I think everyone who featured on it was
Allison as well.
Allison, yeah,
she's just like
Allison,
a killer singer, and
yeah,
has a very smooth, professional voice, and can just like. She has a very like indie kind of cadence to her voice.
Yeah, and my wife M was on Tinted Civic actually, which was going to be on Cam Roll. It ended up being its own. And Allison and M, who are good friends, they have very similar voices, but M's the alto and Allison's higher. She's a soprano. So also taking people's registers into place, like Tinted Civic's more in M's alto range. Whereas a lot of the other songs, like Saran Rap, was more in Allison's range.
Yeah. That's it's like the reason why I asked that question the way that I did is because, you know, you have a very specific way of crediting folks like on the album that like is it's more than just like this person performed on it. I can't remember specifically what the credit was, but it's like, you know, they created these parts and put them in the songs.
Yeah. That's very important to us, because I think a lot of times like it's tough in this age of like everyone splitting Spotify listeners, and you know, how you credit people is not always equitable, and like, well, I mean, especially now that we're on a label, it's a little harder to do this because there's just like a certain amount of like contractual legal stuff, but like you want everyone to get visibility for what they've done. Like it's not just like, hey, just do this, you know. It's like, this is this thing, can you write something around it and do something and embody this? You know, it's a lot of work that goes in, and they have to really believe in your thing. So I want everyone to get credit, and I try to split as much of the stuff on social media and streaming so that everybody can get something out of it, like materially. And I know that seems maybe vapid, but it's the world we live in. I mean, it comes down to that. It's like you want people to get a little recognition and a little like DistroKid money out of it.
Especially come up with cool ideas and like,
yeah,
you know, they're all artists and what they
do. And then they'll really work with you and help you shape the song, so it becomes like this collab. Like I am a big fan of like collaboration, like. Yeah. And that it came from Jonathan. Like, you know, I had this solo project. This band was originally a solo project.
First album's all Tony coming up with everything and then recording everything.
And then as soon as I opened up and was like, all right, I'm going to collaborate, and I really listened to Jonathan and got my head out of my own ass and was like, because you know, I think
both do that to each other.
Yeah, because there's a time when I'm like, no, I know what I'm doing. I have this. I know, like. And then I'm like, I really listen to other people and help them take my ideas and reshape them like as their own. Like that, I've actually seen the most amount of success and had the best stuff, you know, yielded the best music that way. Mm-hmm. So I'm a big fan of that.
Yeah, I've said a number of times, it's like you ask these other people because you want, like, you admire what they do and you want their ideas. Like, if you just wanted someone to do what you expected to happen there, you would just do it yourself like you originally were. So
Yeah.
it's like, you know, it's very rare in my experience where even if something comes back to me that's quite different than what I expected or whatever, it's very rare when I don't feel like, no, that's actually the right move. You know, it's like, it's almost never when I've been like, well, I was actually thinking more sort of like this and there will be a minor change or whatever, but it's almost always like I should just sleep on this, and then I come back and I'm like, this song is way better because of the person that I asked to do this, and that's why I asked them to do it. So, you know, why like, you know, why am I still like wondering about this? Like, when I get something, it's awesome. Just go from there. But yeah, it's it's even easier when you like do have like these incredibly talented people like you've mentioned, you know. Um, you said that you're like in the middle of recording the album that will be coming out on the Flesner. Like, and it feels like Cam Girl just came out. I know it's, you know, it's been a few months now, but like, how much of like y'all's process is sort of like it's like, okay, like, yeah, Cam Girl just came out, but it takes forever to get things into production, so we've actually been writing this new one for X amount of time. Like, how, what does your sort of time frame look like from like, we recorded Cam Girl here, we've been working on this new one and that's why we're recording this, but this won't, like, how is it like, is it like we recorded, we immediately start working on something else because by the time this comes out we're going to be recording the next thing? Like, what's your like sort of flow look like?
Yeah, I mean, we're just always doing stuff anyway, right? And then I think now, because I mean, before we would just release whenever we were done and we wouldn't really do any kind of, and now it's like you got to work with the label and they got to have it X amount of months before the targeted release date, and then you want to have it really done a couple months before that.
Yeah.
Because you want to have time for like any kind of last minute notes. So you're writing stuff well at least a year ahead. I mean,
Yeah. I mean, the day that Cam Girl, I think the day after, the day it was released, like we were writing stuff for the new album, and I think we know the process more, so we know how to demo and get things done a lot quicker and more efficiently and more like feeling, you know, better, like more confident about it.
yeah.
And I think we want to move quicker because the thing with studio time is it's expensive and you can only book so much at once, especially when we didn't have like the Flenser behind us. So we would have to book it and then wait a while for Tony to have more money and for Eric to have availability, and that took a while. So now we can actually work quicker because there's less barrier to actually getting it recorded.
Yeah, if you get a label advance, you're like, all right, well now I can just book out like 4 weekends in a row.
Mm-hmm.
And that's enough to get everything done, everything tracked.
Yeah, we couldn't do that in the past.
No, it was like book one day, then wait another 3 weeks, and then book
3 months. Dude.
3 months.
Save some money, right? Yeah.
Yeah, then save up money, and then like, oh, maybe you're gonna borrow some from a friend and be like, well, we got some royalty money coming in, and we'll give you that $400, and then, you know, oh god, it sucks.
With you has always been watch Tony like throw his money into a pile of fire. Always.
And then people wonder why we're like, nah, we're not gonna play that show because like we need this guarantee, and they're like, these guys think they're like so much better. I'm like, I just can't fucking afford it. Like,
the economy is tough right now. The job market's not great. recording and production is expensive if you want to get it done in a way that I think people will actually like to hear instead of a lot of shitty mixes. So
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's a lot of money, but again, it's, you're talking like $5,000. That's not like crazy money.
Like 2 months rent.
No, I mean, yeah, that's a lot of months rent, but I'm saying in the grand scheme of things, like
maybe 2 or 3 months rent.
Yeah. That's like, well, no, I mean, if for one person, and like I would say that's like 5 months rent. You get $1,000 place.
Shoebox,
Yeah, or if you live where I live, above fucking insane alcoholic people who,
the crazy, MAGA.
Oh,
yeah, that's what you do.
Yeah.
But anyway, like $5,000. Yeah, $5,000 is definitely a lot, but in the grand scheme of things, it's like it's crazy that that's the money that's like between you and waiting, like between you finishing an album and having to wait like 9 months
basically
to get it done. Like it sucks. So having a label that's just like, all right, we can do that. Like, you're not talking like, I mean, the big bands are spending like $100,000 on shit.
I mean, that's probably a low estimate for some, like, it's, but yeah, has that made like, I mean, obviously it's took a lot of the, like the stress of recording off, but like, has that also like, does that make you feel like you're able to stretch like the sort of bounds of what you're able to experiment with even more?
Yes. Yeah, I would say, because anytime you're stressing less about how you're going to pay for it, you can spend more time thinking about how you're going to do it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, that's just like the biggest, that stress is just all consuming. And then even when you're there in the studio, sometimes you're like, oh, like another hour is gone. Like, how much is that?
It's really stressful.
Yeah.
It's tough, and a lot of things take longer than you think they would, especially for like studio level quality of like you want the perfect vocal take or something.
Yeah. It's been a while since I've done that, but definitely, can remember times where it's like, myself or the other guitar player is having a rough time with like one particular part or something, and it's just like you just catch your eye looking up at the clock, like, how like, oh god, how much money have I cost us by like not getting this, but yeah, it's, I don't know, it's it's really like just being any kind of artist, there's so much like truth to that, just like, when you don't have to worry about like how this project is going to fund itself or whatever, like you're so, the freedom to actually like create something, is it's bonkers, because like, sometimes I'm like, I'm just like, well, I made all these records, I have to sell all these records, and I'll spend all day just trying to like sell these records, and it's like, how come I haven't finished this new one, and it's like, that's why, because the money has to come from somewhere, and you can't just keep making things like out of nothing.
There's an economy. There's a basic. I don't care how like leftist you are, you still need to like pay for basic necessities and stuff.
And it sucks.
It does suck.
Yeah.
Like, it's not. I mean, regardless, you live in this system.
Yeah.
We're stuck with this, and getting the production that we want for what we're doing just costs money, man. I mean, there's just no way around it. And it's unfortunate. And of course, art doesn't make a lot of money in the first place. So that's money coming from, at least for, with love, there's money coming from a lot of like anything else, literally.
Yeah.
So,
That's why we need like to bring back those like Fauntleroy guys or whatever that used to just like give artists money just to like here you go, you know,
like patrons,
yeah, the patrons. It was
Yeah.
you just go and, you know, keep working on your paintings or whatever, and like don't worry about like the fact that you have to eat food and stuff like that, you know, like you're
That would
good.
be nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's wild, and especially like, you know, we're talking about, you know, Tony, you mentioned before where you're like, oh, I can't play that show. It's like I remember like this one show that we played where like we went up, we played, we had an awesome time, and we're like, we got paid this amount of money, and I was like, this is the most money like we've ever been paid at a single show. Like I'm thinking this to myself. I, you know, said it to our bass player, and I'm like, but at the same time, by the time we get all the way here and get all the way back, like, there's $50 left, you know.
Yes.
And it's like, there's plenty of times in my life when I was younger and stuff where it was I didn't have that $50 left over. Plenty of times where there was like negative that amount of money.
Yep.
And so it's awesome to have $50 left over, but it's like it's wild when you think this is the most money I've ever been paid, and there's like still nothing left because that's, you know, that's the world we live in.
Especially between 6 people.
Oh my God, yeah.
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 Yeah, and in my case it was like two people, you know, but like
Still.
yeah, you're
Yeah.
just like, oh, okay, like enjoy your large pizza, you know, or whatever.
Yeah. No, exactly. And it's like, I think that's why it's important to have other streams of income, like whether it be a regular job or
You can't even do it without that.
Yeah.
It's not
Yeah.
even
I
like
mean,
it's not even optional.
I mean, I have like younger cousins and like a younger brother and the stepbrother and stuff where it's like, they're all into like various art projects, and my one thing I always tell them is like, hey, just get a good normal job to do this on the side, because you're not going to make any money for a long time.
Yeah, it's the you know, the goal is for the project to sustain itself first of all, and then like after that you're like, you know, we'll see, right? But yeah, it's awesome like that y'all did get to that point where you know, your worries are less about like making the album, and you can like fully just devote yourself to that. We're like, are there like, you know, I don't mean like contracts talk or anything like that, but like when you sign on to work with them and stuff like that, like is this part of like you're like the record is going to come out and then there's going to be like a bigger tour, or is this all just like still open and in the, you know, like, I mean, I'm assuming that y'all have the, you know, discretion to like maneuver these things however you want, but is this like going to be like something that you all are aiming for when the new record comes out, like a bigger tour, things like that, or is it kind of just like we'll see what happens?
Yeah, I mean, it definitely. I mean, we're definitely, you know, the reality is like when you sign and when it's public, you just get more offers and stuff. So I think right now we're just kind of waiting to see what comes our way and mostly focus on making the album, and then we'll.
Yeah, I mean, with the way that, you know, music is now, like we were saying, you know, you have to have everything like this far in advance because of how long pressing takes, because of how like press sort of like is handled and stuff by different avenues and stuff like that. Like I didn't know if this was already something where it's just like, oh no, we know exactly we're going to tour like a year from now. You know, not that you could even necessarily talk about that, but like, you know, if it was a kind of thing of like, we're seeing what happens, or if it's like, oh no, we know already. But
A lot of it's like people ask you stuff, and then they're like, "Can you do it for this amount of money?" And then they're like, "We'll see," and then you don't hear back from them, and then
Oh yeah.
someone else asks you, and you're like, "Can you guys do this money?" And they're like, "Yeah, but only about this, only on these dates," and then it's
Nothing's certain right now.
nothing's certain. It's a lot of, but like I don't. We don't need to tour to survive, so I think that like we're more of a record first, tour second.
I think when the new record comes out, there's a good likelihood that something will happen.
They're gonna want us to tour.
They're gonna want us to tour,
but not like crazy tour, like a
not
like
like
a
a
two
world tour.
week.
Maybe a US tour. I think
You probably like a US week or two. Yeah.
will that be the longest that y'all have ever done, or have y'all been out?
Oh yeah.
a bit?
I think the most we've ever done is what, 3 days, 4 days.
something like that. I mean, we have stuff coming up that's going to be longer than we've done before.
Yeah.
We've got Roadburn and we've got Brutal Assault. And then
Bunch of stuff.
That's we really haven't toured like an actual tour. We've done some weekenders and stuff, but and like a 5-day stint. But we have nothing in terms of an actual tour on the books, and we're kind of playing it by ear, and it would probably be a thing that we wouldn't even really dive into after.
Yeah, touring kind of sucks. Like they're like, do you want to come to like Texas? I'm like, no, I don't want to leave my apartment. I can stay here. Like, why don't you just buy the record and play it at your house?
Yeah, this is the way they're gonna sound, because like that's the other thing too, right? We were talking before, like a mix can like make or break this. Now, when an album is like guitar music, like just more or less strictly like guitar music, right? You can go into any basement, and as long as you can hear the vocals over stuff well enough, you can put on a good show. But I have a feeling that y'all, like, you need someone behind the mixer that like knows what they're doing. Like, you have keys, you have all these other elements that are happening. Like, we need to actually sound good. And so like, how much of y'all rehearsing for live shows that you do is sort of like, how much of it is like potential damage control, where it's like, we need to be able to lock in this way to where if the sound sucks, like, we're still going to come off well.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I think, well, it's funny too, because a lot of people will like, they'll go to a show and they'll be like, wow, that sounded great. It sounded just like the record. I'm like, you know what else sounds just like the record? The record. So just
dude, playing
and listen to that and leave me alone with this.
Dude, we have to basically, we can't practice with Danny most of the time because he lives in New York, so we would practice with these like click tracks with like program drums, which is pretty good, which you have to do. Yeah, it is damage control, but any amount of practice, because like if we didn't practice enough, this music could go so horribly off the rails.
Yeah.
There's times too, and the keys are just like not even close to loud enough, or I messed up some effect and they still get underwater completely, and I literally have to like nod my head more live so Danny can see where the beat is, because some stuff he just can't hear me.
So reverb that out.
It really depends on where we play and like the luck of the night, because some shows it's just like we're not going to be able to hear shit.
Yeah, where the guitars are not hard, they're not like really complex, but they're like they're naked. It's a clean guitar, a very simple riff that if you make one mistake, it will be very obvious.
It's because they're repetitive parts too. So it's tough to play live. And the newer stuff's a little bit easier to play live, the Cam Girl stuff. Yeah. But I mean, some of it's like almost impossible, I guess. But playing live is tough. We need to be very prepared. And it's not like two distorted guitars and screaming where you can push through it. You need to hear the tone. You need to hear like the tonal center of where because you're singing notes. So you're singing low, which is not loud. So it's a pain in the ass to get it to not sound like shit live.
It's I mean, I've always found it like I don't know, like if I don't know where like my range sits or whatever, so maybe it has something more to do with that, but I've always just found it like when I try to do a low harmony or something, like this is way fucking harder. I don't know why. It's like physically easier on like my throat or my body, but it's like
Yeah.
way fucking harder to like stay right where I need to stay. And like part of it is like you're saying, you really need to know where everything is at, like that tonal center or whatever, because this low this low register just sounds way more off even by the slightest like margin,
Yeah.
whereas like you can do this high like thing, and you can actually be off a little bit, and it'll be fine, a little bit of compression and you'll be fine, you know. But low is, I don't know, it's so different. But yeah, do you like, do you still like when you go out to like play shows and stuff? I mean, you still like have like a great time, or I mean, you're like, just let me stay in my apartment, but like there's got to be something there too, right? Like it's cathartic.
I want to kill myself, but you guys
I
have
feel
fun.
like it sometimes. I feel
Is
like
it like anxiety
it's
inducing
fun.
for you?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think it's very anxiety inducing. It's very much like when I was young and drinking, I used to love shows because I just get trashed and do drugs and go be crazy. Now I'm stone cold sober and anxious and sweaty
And holding a
and
microphone while
holding a
everybody's looking directly
microphone.
at you.
Yeah, it's like I don't like it. Like, I don't know. I will do it because I think that I'm always glad I did it. Like it's always a very it's always a great life experience shows, and like I'm always glad I did it, but it's more akin to like a long hike for me where I'm like, all right, this is gonna be kind of rough and
Painful, yeah.
uncomfortable, but like at the end, like I'll be glad that I did it, something like that.
Do you find that once you're in the middle of it or whatever, that sort of melts away, or are you just like one eye contact away from like, oh shit?
I'm counting down the songs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, two left, and then we're good, and then like this, and then sometimes though I will lose
I've
myself
seen
in
you
it.
get really
I've
into
lose
that.
myself in it, and that's amazing.
Yeah.
When you
Rare.
do that. That's
Yeah.
pretty rare though when you're like, oh, this is it.
I can't even do that too much because I have to think about like what button I have to press to change the sound, and
Yeah,
if I
yeah,
like
yeah,
get too into it, I'll
Yeah.
like forget to do something
Yeah,
important,
yeah.
which sucks.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
But that's okay. That's
I really like playing shows. It is like a whole thing to prepare one, but I mean I probably enjoy it a little more than your experience.
I think also just being the front person
Yeah, I don't have
is
to
always
do
like,
that.
yeah, that's always a little unnerving where you're like, well,
Yeah. Do you not have
yeah.
these same kind, like when you go into the studio, is that like is that
Oh, I love the
experience?
studio. The studio, I would never leave the studio
Yeah.
if I could. Like the recording studio, I would never leave if I could.
I think we all feel a
Yeah.
lot more comfortable.
I love writing songs and doing the production stuff. Like even if I don't know really much about engineering, just being like, "Oh, let's try this," and like, "What if we did this?" And
You are trying a
like
different vocal style.
that's so fun, and you can control it. I feel like I have control there. Whereas live, I'm like anything could go wrong, and we're
There's
just
not a
fucked.
spotlight on you in the
Yeah.
stage or on your sweaty body.
Yeah.
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 It is that where you sort of like that's where where you really come alive for the project, like in the studio where you're just like, yeah,
Oh
this is
yeah,
my
yeah. I
stuff.
love it.
Yeah.
I
I
love
mean, like
it.
he'll track like almost all the guitars.
Even
on everything.
pre-process,
So too,
I love
like
it.
just because he's so steady on the spot, like to just like do some like part in one take. There'll be some like really awkward like clean. But you kind of are just built to like crank out the tracks in the studio under pressure.
And I love like hearing the song come to life. Like
Yeah,
that's my favorite thing. Like when
hearing
you're
the
like,
pro version.
yeah, like or even just if I come to you and I like, oh, I wrote this on my acoustic. Let's try it out.
Yeah.
And we add all these synths and
That's
guitar,
cool,
bass.
too.
Like and you hear it, you're like, oh, it actually works. Like it's and we could do this and like that. That's where I really like it. But anyway, we probably do have to sign off soon because we have to go.
Yeah,
make
no.
dinner.
I was sort of tracking the time here as well, and I do appreciate y'all's time. But Yeah, it's been really cool chatting with y'all. Like, I understand y'all got to go. I'm looking forward to the new album. Hopefully, y'all make it out towards Indiana, and we might be able to catch y'all or something. But is there any like sort of like last thoughts you wanted to put out there before you take off?
No, well, first of all, thank you so much for having
thank
us.
you.
It's been a really great conversation. Is it, I'm sorry,
Edie,
Edie?
yeah,
Edie. Okay,
yeah.
good. And no, it's been so, the questions have been great. And I was like looking through, you talked to Aki and Clem, some of our friends, and
Meredith, yeah.
Meredith. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, your
I didn't
album's
see Meredith, but that's awesome.
yeah.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think we really respect what you do, and thanks so much
Yeah.
for having us.
Thank you.
Yeah,
And yeah, it would be definitely come say hi if we're ever near you and you come see a show.
yeah, and
Come hang out.
we would love to come to. I mean, I do love meeting people. Like I act like the social aspect I love. I think it's just like I get in my head about
The
performing.
performance is like nerve-wracking.
It doesn't matter where we are,
Mhm.
but anyway, thank you so much for having us.
And that was my conversation with Tony and Jonathan from Crippling Alcoholism. Thank you both so much for taking the time to chat with me. Thanks to all of y'all for listening wherever you are as well. Don't forget to stop by patreon.com/humanmachine to check out what we've got going on there. Subscribe to the Middleman Records YouTube page to keep updated about the show. And most of all, take care and do good things.